When Sakamoto Days first came out, I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, because I'm an anime only for this show and the tone it gave off was of a comedic anime, and that didn't inspire me much, but I enjoyed it regardless for what it was. The first season of Sakamoto Days was fun and entertaining enough for me to watch it. I know there were some people who were disappointed by the animation of the first season and dropped the show, but I feel like those people were manga readers. I feel like the insane art style of the manga didn't translate as they hoped, so their expectation wasn't matched. I almost always feel that way when a beloved source material of mine gets adopted into an anime or live action, so I understand them. But for me, Sakamoto Days was a decent watch. Nothing much, nothing less. And then season 2 came out. Season 2 of Sakamoto Days blew it out of the park for me. It has some really insane hype moments. The animation is even better than the first season, especially for the big moments in big fights, and man did I enjoy the show. It had some really sad backstories that I wasn't expecting at all. The flashback I'm talking about is Apart's. Man did his flashback hit. The first time Sakamoto Days struck a chord with me was when the backstory of Apart was getting shown to us. This kid who was shunned by everyone, even his mom and the kid's his age, then becomes a psychotic killer by killing a cat due to his circumstances, and the only person who was kind to him, his dad, found out and broke down crying when he found out that his son did this. That scene was heartbreaking. Also, the more heartbreaking thing was his father gives him the benefit of the doubt and takes him to the doctor because the father was hopeful that his son couldn't do such a horrific thing as murdering a cat, and that there must be something physiological wrong with him, and the doctor says there's nothing wrong with him, suggesting his son killed the cat just because he wanted to. Man, that was tough to watch. And his father, the only person who actually cared for him in his life, says the most hurtful thing a father could say to a son, which results in Apart killing him too. Apart has been deprived of human connection. His mom, who is mostly with him at home, doesn't give a single dime what happens to him, and the kids his age are the same even when he tries to connect with them the right way. So Apart resorts to killing, and killing is the only way he knows how to connect with people. Man, that was such a good backstory, and at that point in the story it was the most emotionally hitting backstory thus far. And when he joins and hangs out with Sakamoto Circle with Shin and Lu, you love to say, because I love found family tropes in stories. But something had already happened before this point in the story. When Sakamoto and Apart were fighting and the Tokyo Tower was about to fall, an old man with a sword was lurking all along in the background, and this old man cuts another piece of the tower to balance it and just casually leaves. That was a very interesting part of the story, and we'll talk a lot more on this old man later in the video. After this, we get into one of the most high parts of the death row prisoners arc, and that was Slur and Gaku's assault on JAA headquarters. Their casual conversations heading up to the front door of the JAA building, Gaku clearing out the floors, and every assassin that crossed his path was called AF. Their casual conversation heading up to the front door of the JA building and Gaku clearing out the floors, and every assassin that crossed his path was called AF. And you also hear Slur's ideology, believing that the JAA is rotten and wanting to create a new order, adds a lot of intrigue to Slur. And when we thought Gaku's rampage throughout the JAA won't stop because he is so overpowered, the old man who stopped Tokyo Tower from falling appears again. I was very hyped when the old man showed up. We learn his name is Takamura and his nickname the Ghost of JAA, and we get this info from the mouth of Slur and tells another one of his partner Uda, who was a double agent in the JAA, to hurry up since Takamura came. And old man Takamura makes his cold entrance and appears in front of Gaku. And when they clashed and old man Takamura slices Gaku's weapon like it's nothing, cutting off a couple of his fingers. In the process, boy was that hype. Old man Takamura is so badass badass and cool. You know what they say, beware of old men in a profession where people die young. And now we know why old man Takamura made it to that age without dying, because he is one of, if not the coolest characters in Sakamoto Days. And then Sakamoto, Shin and the part make their entrance and come face to face with Slur and Uda, and here what follows is one of the coolest and quickest fight sequences I've watched in recent memory. After some brief exchange of words between Slur and Sakamoto, we see Shin getting attacked by Uda and was about to shoot him, and then a part cuts his gun with his strings, screaming, "You can't take away my connection," which was epic. And then Slur cuts off a part's arm, and then Sakamoto intervenes to save both of them, telling them to stay back. Man, that was a crazy chaotic fight scene which I feel like most shows try to achieve but can't, and Sakamoto Days delivered it in superb fashion. Also later on, you've got Gaku running away from Old Man Takamura, and as usual Old Man Takamura makes his cold entrance and another chaotic fight ensues. My favorite moments from this fight was when Old Man Takamura cut off Gaku's arm, and then in badass fashion Gaku says he doesn't need it and kicks his severed arm back to Takamura. That was dope as hell, because I love that Gaku didn't lose aura even though Old Man Takamura was showing him up. Usually in other shonen stories, in order to hype up one character, it comes at the cost of another badass character, but Sakamoto Days doesn't fall into that writing trap, and that's just more awesomeness from the story. Also, when Gaku was heading in to attack Old Man Takamura, and Slur realizing that Gaku will die if he goes straight ahead to attack Takamura and pulling him back last minute was great to see. Also, when Slur got overwhelmed by both Takamura and Sakamoto being there, so he tried to escape, but escaping Old Man Takamura ain't easy, so Uda sacrifices himself by deliberately getting stabbed by Takamura's blade and holding it in place and blowing himself up. It just goes to show you the amount of sacrifices you need to make to hold Old Man Takamura, and that is just insane to me. Also, I'm really excited for Old Man Takamura's flashback and his origin story, how he became this strong and how he got the nickname the Ghost of JAA. I don't know if we will get it, but I hope that we do, because this character is so cool for us not to get one, or maybe it's because of the mysterious aura that he has is the reason that he is so intriguing, and it's better off left that way. Either way, this character really stood out for me in Sakamoto Days, and I hope to see more of him even though he got nuked. In anime, you can't be sure a character is dead unless you see a body, and Old Man Takamura will definitely come back. And this concludes the Death Row Prisoners arc of Sakamoto Days, and man, what a step up from season 1. Things got really serious in season 2, and I'm glad I stuck with the show. And then we get into the JCC transfer exam arc. If I were to sum up this arc, it's basically classic Sakamoto Days humor with the bit of intensity and seriousness we got from the Death Row Prisoners arc. You've got the classic people underestimating Sakamoto, especially when he and Shin were on the plane with the various people taking the exams and everyone was looking down on Sakamoto, and these scenarios almost always crack me up, especially when people who underestimate Sakamoto walk up to him and grab his double chin and stretch it. That cracks me up for whatever reason, but in the whole plane sequence, the character that I was impressed with was Kanaguri, the psychotic movie director. This guy's entire character concept is insane. A guy who makes movies and records whatever he wants, but as soon as he sees something he doesn't like, let's say lack of violence, you bet he's going to bring in the violence. And the fact that he sort of kept up with Sakamoto when they had their clash also piqued my interest. Also, when they got into the island, when it got revealed that Akira Akao, the blue-haired girl that we got acquainted with in the arc, was actually the daughter of Rion Akao, a character which was foreshadowed previously in the story during the Death Row Prisoners arc when Sakamoto was in the hospital after his intense fight with Slur. It was mentioned during Sakamoto's JCC days she used to be one of the top guys and also friend to Nagumo, Sakamoto and Uzuki, who we know is Slur. I took note of that name when we first heard it, and the fact that it paid off rather soon right in the next arc was a pleasant surprise. And I wonder what her daughter Akira is going to do moving on forward into the story. And also, if Rion shows up, would she be on the side of Sakamoto or Uzuki? There are some interesting routes this story could go utilizing those characters. So yeah, in conclusion, I really enjoyed season 2 of Sakamoto Days. It was was a massive step up both in terms of animation and story. I used to always get confused when people hyped up Sakamoto Days. Now I understand why. I know the manga has ended, but I intend to be an anime only for Sakamoto Days. Also, I can't wait till season 3 comes out. I'm not aware of any announcement, but it will be crazy for them not to make a season 3 after season 2, which was received well by fans. If you've made it this far into the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. It will mean a lot, and with that said, see you guys in the next one.